Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a detailed look at this Wave 3 Master Chief. I think it's Wave 3. It comes with the launcher right there, and comes with this weapon. It's very soft plastic, and then a bunch of hands. And here you can see the forearm also has the launcher right here in scale, I guess, with the rest of the armor. This one is not, but it has a gimmick string attached to it, so you could it's got a little play value for kids, I guess. And here's the Master Chief, and first thing you might notice is that the visor is no longer chrome finish. It is that that orange finish, orange metallic finish to it. It does look very accurate to the game, but I think a lot of people would prefer a metallic finish on that. There's the rest of him. It's definitely a lot darker this time around than the previous version, previously released versions of Master Chief. Those were very, very bright green, and this one is somewhat of a darker shade of green. I'll do a comparison in a bit, but just know that this Master Chief looks to be the same as the other version, but it just has a different paint job and different joints attached to him. And here's the back side of Chief. And I am happy they didn't go overboard with the weathering. It's very minimal as far as the silver paint's concerned, which I like, because they did a terrible job with Palmer, and yeah, so I'm glad they didn't go too much on the weathering department on this one. And another thing you might notice when you get this figure out of the box, you will notice that his neck is a little too long for this head here. I don't know whether the helmet, I think the helmet is a little small too, in my opinion. I think if it was a little tad bit larger, I think it'll work a little bit better. And again, the neck joint is a little too long. The neck is a little too long, and it does have that new articulation, the hinge joint attached to it. For Master Chief, it works well because it doesn't have that lip on the back there, so it doesn't impede with the articulation. So you can look up quite a bit and look down quite a bit as well. But again, the neck is a little bit long, but I guess if you do a certain angle like I had it before, where his head is tilted down a little bit, then this way doesn't look that long. It looks quite good actually, and even on the sides it looks alright. But yeah, it's just when you have his head straight, then you will notice his neck is a little long and a little small. Shoulders could go up about that much in full rotation, and new articulation made it a little bit better. It doesn't have that butterfly joint anymore, or even if it does have it, it's very minimal. And the way they attach the arm to the body is different now, so it doesn't pop off easily. It doesn't even pop off at all. I didn't force it though, so there is a bicep swivel and rubbery joints. I am not liking this at all. The elbows could bend quite a bit. Look at that double joint. It could fold all the way in. And then the wrist, for all these Halo figures, they all have the same joint that goes in and out only, not top and down, not top down. I mean up and down. And as for the torso, chest, there is a ball joint there. If you bend his chest downward, you'll pop this joint right off, and you can see there's a ball joint down here. And then the socket joint down here. I know it's hard to tell because it's just dark. And this piece should be removable, but it is very hard to get it back on, so I'm not gonna attempt to remove that. So just pop this back on. And as far as range of motion is concerned, just a little bit, because if you go a little overboard, then it pops right off. As for the legs, I've noticed it is a lot harder for him to look good when he's standing. What I did, because initially the legs were like this, it's just straight, like that. The thigh pieces, it would, because they added the swivel right here. Let me go over this. The ball jointed hips right there, and then swivel in the thigh, and then these soft knee joints. I don't like it at all. Gives you over 90 degrees, but it is. Look at that. Look at how wobbly soft it is. I hate that. They need to do something about these. These are nasty. The worst joints I've ever seen. It's like the cheap Hasbro stuff. And then there's a hinge down here at the ankle, and it does pivot left and right, and it has toes articulation. So hopefully they will fix this, but I highly doubt it. So what I was saying about the legs, it's kind of weird when I first received this figure, when I first got this figure from GameStop. The legs, I don't like them because they look like he is, when you stand him up straight, his knees kind of buckle in a little bit, his legs kind of go inward a little bit. Looks like he needs to pee or something. So what I had to do was, I know I have to move the butt plate back a little bit in order for the legs to, in order for this thigh piece to go through it. Because right now it's stuck. You can see it's is impeding with the articulation. It's hitting that butt plate. So what I did was I lift his legs up just so it went in there now, and then I rotate the thigh piece down a little bit and then swing the legs back down. That way that piece now, this thigh section piece, is now tucked underneath the butt plate, because otherwise you won't be able to get that butt plate underneath. So again, swing this leg up, twist this thigh piece down a little bit, and then slide it down, and you should be able to get the thigh armor underneath the butt plate. Then he'll look a lot better that way. After a little bit, then this piece will get pushed out a little bit more. Then you'll be able to stand him up straight while his legs are spread apart. I mean, at least it's pointing outward a little bit instead of pointing inward like he needs to pee or something. So now when you stand him up straight, he'll look fantastic. And here's that gimmick. Attach that onto his arm. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to go this arm or the other arm. This arm already has a piece here, so whatever, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm never gonna use this anymore. Only for to review. That's the only reason I would even look at this piece here. So remove that, and then here's a string. So you could pull it on, and then you could attach this to somewhere, and then have them swing around. So for kids, I guess, or for stop motion stuff, then you could, well, it might be a little hard to get the string looking like it's shooting out without putting a wire in it. But yeah, I guess for people who want to take photography with this aiming somewhere, you could put a wire piece in here instead of the string, and then just have it coil a little bit so it looks like it's shooting out or something. That might be an interesting photo actually. But yeah, there's that piece, and it looks nasty actually, so I'm gonna remove it. And then the only weapon he comes with is this ugly weapon, and I didn't even bother to soften up the plastic to get it back in shape, because yeah, rubbery plastic. The only way he's gonna have this weapon is gonna be attached to his backside, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna use him for. Alright, and here we have the old Chief versus the new one. Old one, of course, is the lighter shade of green version, which is on the left, and the right side is the new Master Chief. And look at that visor. Chrome finish versus metallic finish. Chrome, metallic. I like the chrome, of course I like the chrome better. And if you're gonna do a head swap, then you might have to repaint this whole figure. So for customizer who are willing to repaint this figure, then you might want to switch the heads, swap the heads around, and you'll get a really nice looking Master Chief. And everywhere else, the only difference I could see is pretty much the gauntlet for the arm, and that's it. I think everything's reused except for the joints they added, except for the neck joint and the shoulder section, the butterfly section, and I think it's pretty much identical, and different visor, of course. Yeah. So I do like the deeper deeper green color of Master Chief. I think it looks better, but I think the lighter color is pretty. No, I think it's still too light for the video game. I think this one is actually similar as far as the paint job is concerned. And yeah, so there it is, another Master Chief. This is like the third Master Chief. I think each wave has a Master Chief too. I'm a bit disappointed with the lineup that they have. It's like all reissue figures except for one, Palmer. That's the only new figure. Because this way we got Master Chief, 2 Spartan Mach 5s, and Palmer, and that's it. And when are we ever gonna get an Elite or something, or Grunt or something? I mean, we got the smaller version, the 4-inch version of villains and creatures, but not for this larger scale though. So I don't know what's going on with Jazwares. They're going cheap with this line here. Reissue versus many reissues instead of making new characters for this. So yeah, there's Master Chief. A little disappointed with the joints, with the knee joints, and yeah, that's about it. And I don't like that weapon at all. So yeah, there you go. There's Master Chief from Jazwares. Thanks for watching.